right, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to a new episode of the Kevin C. Faith Podcast. It's your boy, Kevin Davis, comic creator, author, entrepreneur, and so many other hats that I do not feel like saying right now. But welcome back to the legend himself, the
Yeah,
myth, Mr. Todd Rayner. How you doing, brother? This is like the 100th time we've talked so far, so I think I made an impression on you, but welcome back.
yeah, no, I appreciate being on. I don't know about legend, but we're doing good. We're kind of launching the new book, the new campaign. Everything got funded, so I'm just working on stretch goals.
Heck
But
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff going on with the studio, and doing some work for you, which is really fun. That's exciting. So yeah, doing good.
That's so weird hearing someone say don't work for me. I'm like, I never get used to that, even as a professional now. So I never get used to hearing that. It never fails. Yeah, it's our first official collaboration. The
hmm
Kevin So Dark Space Studio collaboration has started. We can show a little bit of tease of the cover that you're doing. Can you bring it up to the screen right quick to give a little tease
Yeah,
of what's happening?
I got the pencils. I started the inks, but I got the pencils, so we'll kind of get these. Hopefully, we can see that. But
Yeah, look at
yeah,
that beautiful tease right there.
yeah.
Well, this is the main cover for my Skin Shifter graphic novel
hmm
coming down the road, either hopefully next Halloween season.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll see what happens.
hmm
But that's coming down the pipeline. Todd Rayner's doing the main cover for that. It's so freaking exciting. I can't wait to see the finished thing, man.
Yeah.
But before we get to like some work, let's have some fun a bit. And before we get to your Kickstarter and everything, let's have a bromance. You know what I mean? First off, for new people that's getting to know you, what's something you like that people would never guess when they when they learn about your career, about you?
That's a good one. I am pretty much an introvert. If you see me at conventions, I do talk to a lot of people. Like that's in a way that that's my people. So I'm definitely
Yeah,
more open when I'm out and doing stuff or doing podcasts because we're talking about comics and nerd stuff, and
heck yeah.
I definitely have my opinions on that. But I think unless you see me at a show, I'm left-handed, so a lot of people don't know that I'm left-handed.
Wow, that's so freaking cool. But I tried to write with my left hand and it sucks badly.
Yeah, and kind of when I was in high school, I broke my left wrist, so then I learned how to do everything right-handed.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of technically ambidextrous. I do a lot of things right-handed
Jesus,
and left-handed. So yeah,
dude, how did you break your left wrist? That
actually
hurts.
playing basketball.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Oh my God. If you could describe yourself in like 3 words, what would they be?
sarcastic, loves movies and music. It's not 3 words, but man,
Loves make music, loves entertainment, so why not?
yeah, and sense of humor. Like I definitely, you know, I kind of I tell people I speak in three languages.
Oof.
Sarcasm, swear words, and movie quotes. So
I speak in all of those
there's
actually.
3 words.
I'm saying I speak in all of those. Most of them is sarcastic, especially when I'm in a goofy mood. Like
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
you can tell on my Facebook when I'm making multiple posts at once. I'm like, I'm in a
mhm,
goofy mood.
yeah,
Like sometimes I'm not even trying to troll nobody. I'm conversation starter. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Well, that's why I posted that Facebook post and say, okay, one episode launches another flop or has potential. And seeing the sub,
hmm
I wasn't expecting it to go off like that whatsoever.
yeah,
But seeing the different aspects of comments, I'm like, interesting, interesting.
hmm
I'm not trying to troll nobody whatsoever. Even though I do troll people, but I troll
oh
trolls.
yeah, exactly.
I only troll trolls. And then I'm just trolling people I like and that actually know me that I'm not being serious about something.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And so, like, what's like your one of the most funniest or strangest things that have ever happened to you while you're working?
While I'm working.
Yeah. I love hearing like stories where people work and like something random happens. Like for example, like with me, like I work from home and
Yeah,
I'm right like pretty much all the time and like doing
yeah,
multiple projects. There's like
yeah,
moments I'm like I hear like a random voice but I'm like the only person in the house right now at the moment, or I feel like I just saw like a shadow that just walked past me or something
hmm
like that, or randomly I hear like a creepy, if you're a fan of Goosebumps, like a creepy,
yeah.
slappy doll voice laughing. Well, I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, nothing too exciting. I trying to think back like all the times like doing artwork or working from home, doing stuff like that. I live a very drama-free life, like very low
Nice.
drama. I love the supernatural, but I've never experienced like supernatural things
Mm.
yet. I would love to. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's times where like I didn't know, like I'm, filling up my marker for filling in blacks on artwork and stuff. And, I get some on my thumb and I get a thumbprint on my artwork. And I'm like, okay, so do I just fill in that area black or how do I figure this out?
Yeah.
So I mean, as sometimes with ink, you definitely have those like mistakes or happy accidents. Sometimes it adds something to the final inked page when you're working on something. But yeah, nothing really that strange has ever really happened.
Interesting. Interesting. And if you weren't doing what you're doing today, what career you think you have?
Well, I was a graphic designer. I mean, I still consider that, my main schooling and background and all that. But if I wasn't doing, really artwork and comic stuff and writing, publishing, drawing, all that fun stuff, I'd probably just be a boring graphic designer doing videography and production art. I have this strange part of me because I'm OCD and all that. I don't mind the mundane things, like the tedious tasks. Like I could do the same thing,
Yeah.
over and over and over again and work it and tweak it to be more efficient or more processes that ease the workflow and all those things. So my mind is always thinking about like how can I make this a little bit smoother or quicker or easier to do. And I know a lot of people don't like to do these tedious tasks or the mundane, but for me, like that's how my brain works. I can like think on something that's like the simplest things and have brain capacity to think about other things, because you're focused on that pretty, you know, simple task. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'd probably like work in design and video and stuff like that.
I like that. I like that. I mean, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I honestly don't know what the heck I would be doing. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, because growing up, I was a nonchalant person like all the
Yeah.
time. I was like I just go wherever life leads me. I'm like I don't know
Hmm.
what the heck I want to do. That's like I didn't even think I wanted to be a business person until I started doing it. So it was like one of
Yeah.
those moments. It's like I just started doing something and then I fell in love with it. That's how I
Hmm.
came into my career.
Hmm.
And even though I hated writing with a passion for a long time, but I found out it was in my blood. So I'm just like, now I can't like stop thinking about writing because I have so many stories I want to tell.
Yeah.
And now now I'm a professional in watching movies in film entertainment. I look at it differently now, and not as
Yes.
just as a fan, but actually as a
Right.
writer. And I've seen and like every time I read someone's review of a movie. I'm like, interesting. Or unless she's like,
Yeah.
well, those reviews might trash, and I'm like, okay, you're not really giving me any type of feedback.
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna listen to you. Or something like that. This is the worst movie ever. I'm just like, it's not, but okay.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, there's things you can pick if I'm like, they could have been better, but it's not the freaking worst thing ever. But you just say like the worst movie ever. It's like trash. And it's like, you're not
Mm.
giving proper, like, but constructive feedback. I'm not
Right.
gonna listen to you whatsoever. And then I see these others childish comments and posts about the James Gunn and Zack Snyder bullcrap that continues to go on and on and on. And I was like, oh, you guys need to grow the hell up. Snyderverse is not coming back. Yes, I like the Snyderverse. It was cool. But I'm
Yeah.
also I'm like I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna get emotion attached to any of this stuff because at the end of the day they're entertainment. So
Yeah.
I was like, granted, I like James Gunn too. But just because I like James Gunn does not mean I'm not going to critique what he does. I do the same thing with Zack Snyder. I do the same thing with other people I like.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
I consider myself a fan of the film entertainment and like I even mentioned like music and stuff, but I'm not like I don't feel like take it to the extreme of being a fanboy, right? Like
thank
I
you.
don't
Yeah,
yeah, I just appreciate the entertainment for what it is. Yes, is the story bad? Well, okay, maybe but I have a love for bad writing if it's like really really bad and there's a lot of movies that just like Hollywood movies where you don't know that it's really bad writing because it looks so good and it's the music is well done, the lighting is it's competently shot and made, but then when you start thinking about it, there's like holes where this character falls off and like where did they go? Or as someone's talking, it's like that's not really how people would talk. So it's just balance of, what's and it's all personal, I guess subject to personal objectivity because
yeah,
what one person likes, the other person may hate. So
yeah.
I just sit back and enjoy it, like Did I have fun? Did I get my money's worth? And if I did,
Yeah,
then I call it a day, you know?
yeah. And like when people like I remember when you made a post about He-Man, you asked the
Hmm.
question like why is this so loved? I'm like
Yeah.
when I see posts like that, I'm like what I'm like I wonder what you mean by that because I've seen so many people say that and be like a very disrespectful way, but I knew you wasn't saying it that way, so
Yeah.
that's why I made that comment. I'm like I'm not sure what you mean by why is it so
Yeah.
loved. I was like, was it but
Well,
why can't it be loved? I'm like I only asked that just like I like to have a conversation. I'm not trying to bash you or anything.
no, and I
And
didn't take it that way. And it's
I just
funny
want to
you
make that.
brought
I
that
don't want to
up.
make that clear, right? I was not trying to bash
Yeah.
you or think about that.
No,
But then
when
I
you
saw
brought
how
that
you
up,
broke down what you meant. I was like,
yeah.
that's what you meant. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Well,
It's like this is
I
how you
did
make
that
a
because
conversation and ask questions. Yeah,
right, you made me think like did it, you know, because we never know. Like we
yeah,
can say something, and even in our books, right? We write books and we think like, oh, this is a just an awesome story. And then when, you know, there's times my wife, she kind of proofreads stuff and she's like, I don't get this, or she'll laugh at a joke. And I'm like, okay, I nailed that one. That works, but like
yeah,
this one I need to work on.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think sometimes we get a little too close. And when we even on social media, we may say something and then you made me think like, wait, could that be taken harshly? I was like, no, 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 let me explain because like yes, people can love whatever they want to love, and I'm all for that. But I was curious on like what were and I probably should have worded it a little better, but what were
yeah,
specific things that people loved about the movie, right? Because the production was phenomenal. The CGI was pretty good.
yes,
But then
yeah.
it's like there's certain elements that it took for those. I'm no spoilers, but I mean it took a
It's been
while
a
for
year,
things
so we
to
can
really
spoil
get
it for
going.
anything at this point.
Like He-Man doesn't show up until like what, in 45 minutes almost into the movie? An hour? I mean, it
Yeah,
takes him
about an
forever.
hour, and like the next 45 minutes is just He-Man. Yeah, so about an
Yeah,
hour into the movie. Yeah,
Battle Cat doesn't show up until the end,
to the end. Yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
like, what? And the story was a little convoluted. Like to me, if there is a reason why movies go an hour and a half, right? There's that Hollywood theme of like, hey, let's not do it, let's not overdo it. And I think
yeah, yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah.
we've had successful films, and this is in the music industry too, where there's a band like Queen can write a 7-minute song or 8-minute song,
Yeah.
but they do it so phenomenally well
You
that
can't tell it's that
a
long.
lot of
Oh yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And yes, there's films that are 2.5 hours long, and you know, you're just like, that did not feel 2.5 hours. But I think a lot of people get this like overexcited creative, I guess, idea that like, hey, I'm gonna be, you know, I have creative reign, but who's checking you to make sure that like you're not making it boring, you're not taking it, you know,
yeah.
adding that extra
I
20
got
minutes
yeah,
that you could cut. And honestly, there was probably at least a half hour of that movie they probably could have cut. The whole beginning, I mean, like, do you want the origin of He-Man? Sure. Does it need to be 45 minutes? No. It's just that simple, you know? And that's what I think with a lot of modern films, it's like, okay, we can shoot this beautiful film. We can sound mix it and it be awesome and light it well. But how does that writing really affect the pacing? How does the writing affect the action sequences or the story character development? And that's one thing that like, over the years, as I have been started to write my own books, like you, I look at TV shows differently. I look at films differently from a writer's perspective to say, oh, I really loved how they had that shoe drop or how they built up for this one event,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then I
yeah,
also, the flip side, I look at it and be like, oh, that was terrible. I never
yeah,
want to do it that way, you know?
yeah.
And it's our personal opinion, but that's how I approach writing as well.
Yeah, and then when I saw how you broke down what you meant by your post, I was like, oh, that's what he meant. I was like, you made me think about it because when I watched He-Man, I was just having fun with it because it was.
Hmm.
I feel like He-Man was one of the movies you just turn your brain off and just enjoy it without
Yes.
critiquing it for a while. You just need a break. That's kind of how I went into it because I knew it was going
Hmm.
to be like I knew it's going to be goofy and stuff. Like I was prepared
Yep.
for that. So it was like one of the brain turn offs, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. I didn't feel like thinking about nothing. I just went in just to be dumb for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I read your post, and I was like, he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong about that. When I go back and actually look at the movie, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, was it really 45 minutes until? I'm like, Jesus Christ, that really was
Yeah.
that long until he paid He-Man. And
And
then
I had to look because I'm just
I
like,
say,
it felt long, right? And when you
yeah,
hit that feeling of like, and I get the nostalgia, like I love nostalgic
yes,
films,
yes,
and but there's also speaking of writing, there was this really for me, it was a fragmented script. And when you have four people writing a story, that's typically not a good sign.
yeah,
And they had four
that's
writers on that movie.
because it
So
felt
you
like it
had,
was jumbled of different styles. It didn't like
yeah,
you made the comment say it felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like you didn't know it wanted to be serious, or it wanted to be a comedy, or it wanted to be action, or it just wanted to be a slow burn. And I
yeah,
remember like, dang, dog got a point there because it does feel like it's most like one moment it feels like a James Gunn with like a random joke moment, and then another moment it feels like a serious director writer like I guess I don't
yeah,
know Christopher Nolan or something. I don't know. That's
yeah,
what I meant.
exactly.
And then if like the guy who did Thor 3, Taka, I can't pronounce his name
Hmm.
for the life of me. Then it's like Jesus Christ, and like I legit rewatched the movie after reading your feedback. I'm like, hey, Todd's right.
Yeah,
Todd's
and
actually
I
right.
don't. And that was all opinion based, right? That was just like me trying to take a step back. And
Yeah.
I think we're both friends with Tom Hutchinson, and I know he does a lot of movie reviews and talks a lot about his stuff. And I just kind of there's times where he'll critique a film, and I didn't see it that way, so I go back and rewatch it, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's right on all these points. So it's just kind of fresh eyes, And I do that with
Yeah.
my art. I do it with my scripts. I try yes, I can write a script pretty quickly, but that doesn't mean that it's perfect out of the gate, right?
Oh
You
God, no.
always go back and look for revisions,
Oof.
or can I
Yes.
cut some dialogue out to keep up the pace, to keep up the reader moving the pages and flipping the pages without sitting on a page for 10 minutes trying to read 10 word balloons, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like literally, I wrote like a kaiju script for one of my kaiju stories, and
Mhm.
I knew it was missing something, but I could not figured out the life of me.
Mhm.
So I have a friend who's actually based here in the same city as me. I sent it over to him, and he gave me what I was missing. And he's like, "You have
Nice.
great details, but you can just cut it off right here, so it won't be like
Mhm.
over bloated." And
Yeah.
then you like start the next issue from here and going forward.
Yeah.
And then he asks like the questions. It's like, okay, with this character, why are they like this? I'm like, why is this
Mhm.
scene this way? And like, or you can like expand the scene into multiple pages this way. And but at the end of the day, he's like, dude, you have a great world building mindset. You just have to slow it
Yeah.
down a little bit. Because
And
my
it's tough.
because literally my mind just explodes all the
Mhm.
time, and so I just wrote it out, get it out of my head. And then he
Mhm.
broke it down for me. He said, just slow it. Like the pacing is too fast. Just slow it down a little bit. Like you got a great setup. Just slow it
Yeah.
down the pacing, expand it. I mean, draw it out a little bit to keep the audience on edge, but don't
Mhm.
draw it out too much to get them bored. Just a little bit, and then just break it up from there. And I was like, that's what the heck I was missing from that story. And I was like, good lord, yeah, this is my first kaiju story I'm writing too. So I'm like, I just knew from
Nice.
the beginning I'm missing something here. And
Yeah.
learning
Nice.
from him, it's like now I have like it was felt so good getting fresh eyes on it. And then
Mhm.
now I'm writing like my first Western supernatural horror story.
Nice.
I'm like it's I'm saying I still feel like I'm missing something in it. I sent it to him to he gave me he said it was pretty good, but I still feel like I'm missing something, so I might get another. I'm actually about to send it to you to get fresh eyes on it too.
Okay.
So I'm actually now thinking about I might send it to you. So it's like it's my first Western supernatural type
Mhm.
of story. It's a horror story, so you're a horror king at this point because I've seen your series.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna send it to you, get what you think about it before I send that to production because I still feel like I'm missing something for this first issue of it.
Mhm.
But that's an off topic thing. That's an off camera thing.
Well, wait, you bring up a good point talking about horror and, to
Yeah,
even just bring it into like you're writing a first time writing a horror book or, Western, supernatural, like any of these genres. I think horror is probably the hardest genre to write for, in my opinion. Because slice of life drama, I mean, I think the challenge with writing those kind of stories is to make the artwork interesting,
yeah,
because you're having a lot of people sit around and talk about things or life experiences. They're walking to the coffee shop, they're
yeah,
driving wherever. So it's a lot of like how to make that interesting. Like action adventure type of stuff, superhero stuff is probably the easiest in my opinion, because you can show explosions, you can show a fight scene, you can show a lot of the action stuff going on. Where horror, it's a combination of like, do you want to do a slow burn? Do you want to build for 4, 5, 6 pages of this killer stalking
Right.
somebody, right? Or do you want to show like action? Because like there's just so many kind of subgenres of horror where you could do like gore, like more gory horror or more suspenseful horror. And it's how do you, in film, it's easy. You can build that tension, but how do you build tensions with a still image? And that's where like the challenge of writing comes into play so that when I hand it off to an artist, they understand I'm these 2 or 3 pages or 5 panels, I'm building tension. Like you walk down a street and then there's someone down the alley and they see this couple walking and that person starts to follow them, right? And they don't know that they're being followed, but the reader does. That's the tension moment, right? That's building that tension as that person gets closer to the couple.
Heck yeah. And speaking of horror, let's go ahead and get to your horror book that's currently on Kickstarter right now, guys.
Hmm.
Let me share. Luke Bloody Tooth. Here we are. It's
Nice. Yeah.
Luke Bloody Tooth 1 through 4, the bloody finale. That oh, let's look at that artwork already. You can tell it's bloody. But tell us where we're picking up from Luke and who Luke is and why it's such a bloody finale.
Yeah, this is the story of Luke is my reimagining of the fairy and vampire lore. I love supernatural things. Fairies are very interesting. Vampires, obviously, we all know the lore, a lot of different lore about vampires. I tend to flip it kind of upside down in a way. Fairies are on the top of the food chain, and vampires are down more at the bottom. They're the
Interesting.
scavengers, the scum, and in my world, all magical creatures feed on blood, right? They all feed on magical blood or human blood. And in this story, it's basically we learn from the Annabelle story that was released before this that also had Luke in it. We learned that Luke, Annabelle, and Ice Pick, they're descendants of an ancient witch coven. So Luke being the kind of comedic relief, the kind of, I don't know, goofball of the trio there, he's like, well, what better place to learn about witches than Salem, Massachusetts, right? So, just unknowingly, unwittingly, he just goes to Salem and ends up finding a fairy there. The fairies are protectors, so she knows that Luke is a magical person, and so her job, what the fairies do is protect these magical people, and
Yeah.
because they are valued to the vampires, like the vampires kidnap magical, supernatural people, and she's trying to protect Luke. So that's where it starts out, and it's just basically a back and forth of the vampires trying to, kidnap Luke, the fairies trying to protect him. There's a lot of battles that go on, and once the fairy Rose really starts to talk to Luke about like the history and his lineage and where magical, folks came from, he realizes he's like, I'm in way over my head on this one. Like I have no idea what is going on. So he calls up Ice Pick, aka Adam. So he calls up Ice Pick and Annabelle, and they fly to Salem. And this issue is really the final issue where Luke and Rose are kidnapped by the main vampire, and she's kind of like this ancient 2,000-year-old vampire that wants to, just enslave Luke and magical folk altogether. And
Jesus.
so yeah, it's just this all-out battle for really survival at the end of the day. Because if they don't get out, they're going to be, kind of slaves. Where we've seen it in a lot of vampire lore, where vampires will kind of have their blood bag of a human, where they just keep them alive long enough to
Yeah.
keep, feeding on them. And that's what the main vampire chick does. And Luke doesn't want any part of that. So we literally start out with blood-soaked streets in Salem, where the main vampire, Melchior, she's like, go out there and find Luke. I want him now. And so she sends her minions out there, and they're just ravaging the streets of Salem. So, it's not overly gory, but it's black and white. But I'd say it's probably, PG-13, rated R, just for the gore and violence of it. But that's kind of the
So is it
long
like
short
more
of it.
18 plus or 16
Nah,
plus or
I mean, it's really just. a little bit of blood and gore. It's not overtly gory. It's not like guts hanging out or anything. I mean,
Gotcha.
it's I don't think there's any swearing. There's no nudity. You know what I mean? It's just more like,
Gotcha.
the bloody side of it. And yeah, it's Christian Navarro's the interior artist. He did one of the variant covers. Phenomenal artist. And when we talk about black and white artwork, it's got to hold up if you're not doing colors, right? It's got to be a very visual style of artwork. And I think Christian really nailed it. So, but yeah, here's a stretch goals. We're $25 away. $25 away. So
25
that could
bucks
be
away from unlocking the first stretch goal.
many, many rewards are $25 or more. So one more backer could definitely set us over that 750. And I'm doing a few mystery things, some digital wallpapers and stuff. I think a lot of people like to show off their love for nerdom and fandom and stuff like that.
And you just launched a few days ago. Yeah, literally
Uh,
a few days
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
26 days left, and you already funded. Oh, you got plenty of time to get some stretch goals in, guys. While you're
yeah.
watching this video, back to Kickstarter. And this link, the link is in the description of this video while you're watching. Let's get some stretch
Thanks.
goals done.
Yeah, thanks.
This is freaking
And
cool.
it's I'm very tactical when I do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I keep the goal relatively low because I know like my audience, right? And I mean, all of us would want to be, get independently wealthy off doing comics, but that's the reality is that's not the case.
Honestly,
We
rough to
fight.
me is just people reading my books. That's rough to me.
Yeah, and that's how I am. Like I
I
make
go,
comics
yeah,
that I want to read or comics
yeah,
I would probably pick up at a store, comic
exactly.
shop. And for me, I do a low goal, and that what that does is allow me to offer more stretch goals. I'm never going to do well, I would love to, but like the 50 $100,000 kickstarters. And if that's the case, you structure it a little differently. But for me, it's
Yeah,
like I want to bring value to every single physical backer, that they're going to
yeah,
get fun stretch goals, they're going to get, and then as the campaign grows, that gives me the opportunity to allow more stretch goals. So instead of just unlocking 2 or 3, you can unlock 5, 6, 7, depending on how well the
how well that
campaign does.
goes. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally how I am with my Kickstarters and my books. I'm saying I keep
Hmm.
my goal low as possible. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to like overcharge anybody to like to get something I'm trying to sell.
Hmm.
It's like I
Yeah.
want you to get something that you think is cool and
Yeah.
but you
For sure.
hopefully you enjoy.
Hmm.
And plus, I'm like, and I'm going to start doing stretch goals to see if, at some point see how it does.
Hmm.
And I'm going to put this tease out my skin shifter launches August 25th. So
Hmm.
if it so when it gets funded, because I'm very hopeful it'll get funded,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna set it my first stretch goal. I believe I'm going to do like a reveal of your cover as the main cover for the graphic novel version to give people
Yeah.
a tease of what's
Nice.
coming
Yeah.
next after Skin
Nice.
Shifter.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
oh shoot! So when we hit that funding goal, and then I'm gonna put out a post and say, hey, if you get it to this number, I will
Hmm.
have Todd Rayner post the main cover of Skin Shifter graphic novel that will
Hmm.
be coming down the road, not too far in the future.
Hmm.
Revealing the new title and revealing the full arc of Skin Shifter.
Hmm.
So it's gonna
Nice.
put that tease out there that Todd Rayner was doing the main cover of my book for the graphic novel, which I'm very excited about. But enough about me right now.
It's all good.
Um, what I'm as a horror fan, like a
Hmm.
horror creative, what do you think attracts people to horror the most?
Uh,
Even from your like
the,
your personal experience, like how did horror attract you to the genre?
I kind of feel like almost like the adrenaline rush. It was like a safe, legal way to
Yes.
have an adrenaline rush.
Oh
Kind of
yes.
like I love going to theme parks, whether it be like like anything that's got roller coasters. Roller coasters are always fun, things like that. And growing up, I played sports quite a bit, and that also was a way to get an adrenaline rush. So, and
Yeah,
even making comics like that does it for me. When an issue's finished, and hopefully I did my job and everything was edited correctly, and people like it. They come back for the next issue or the next whatever it is I'm working on, and I think there's that same rush. So for horror, I would say it's that rush.
yeah, I agree. I agree on that one because I think that's why I got attracted to horror so much. Because
Hmm.
just and plus, in growing up, I was dealing with all the issues, so I love the darkness of horror. Like
Hmm.
I feel like I could hide in it.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
that's also, but yes, definitely the adrenaline rush and like getting the story, like bringing that into tenacity
Hmm.
in the story of horror. Like it makes me like question what's about to happen, and then it happens. Like the holy smoke, what the
Right. Yeah.
heck?
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
not those cheap jump scares, but it's just one of those stories that just you feel the emotion of where the
Hmm.
character is going, or where you think the character is going, and then you have a good twist. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you thought, but I made you look way," type of thing. And that's kind of like how I try to approach my storytelling,
Hmm.
because I want you to feel, even in comment, I want you to feel the emotion of the story in my writing, but also with the art. And I think that's also what's like missing a lot in like books in general and like in movies and TV shows. It's like it doesn't really bring that tenacity anymore, which really
Hmm.
sucks. It's like, but there has been some good hits lately. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's been everything, but there's just been more misses than hits lately at times.
Yeah. I would agree.
Um,
Yeah.
like recently, I know the new movie on Netflix called The Last House. I've seen so many different reviews about that movie,
Yeah. I haven't
and I was
seen
like, I
it.
looked at your trailer and I wasn't interested. But my curiosity might get the best of me. I'm probably still gonna
Hmm.
watch it just
Yeah.
to see. Um, like with the new shark movie. Well, there's been like 100 shark movies this year already, but the recent one on Prime Video with the Devil's Mouth.
Hmm.
To me, that movie was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, that like when you was talking about the script writing, it's like that, dude. That felt like it was just thrown bits together just to make a
Hmm.
movie, just to make a quick buck, or at least attempt to.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was like people say that's the most Gen Z dialogue ever in that freaking movie. I was like, I'm a Gen Zer,
Interesting.
but at the same time, my sister calls me an honorary millennial
Yeah.
because I was like, I felt like I was like, I cannot relate to these people, even though we're in the same generation. I was like, but I
Yeah.
cannot relate to these idiots because what the hell is happening right now? And then even with like the shark itself was just dull. You could barely even see it. It was in a cave. It was so dark. It was so dense.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. And I'm like, but I'm gonna keep watching it because I want to see how it ends. And
Yeah. It's
then,
it's almost like a morbid curiosity. You can't bail.
yeah, literally. And I'm like, dude, like it's not that hard to make a good freaking shark movie. Come on, guys. Yeah, man,
Well,
people just
yeah,
being lazy. Jeez.
and maybe that's the case, and maybe it's trying to appease the fans too much,
Yeah.
and like I've mentioned, I make comics that I would probably read or pick up off the shelf, and this is maybe a topic for a whole nother podcast, but you start talking about fan service and as creators, like how far are we willing or other creators willing to take that fan service, right? And I think
Mm.
you could get lost in doing that, and I try not to do that. Like if something fits my story, I'm going to put it in there. If it works and it's a moment or a character development plot, then I'm going to add that in there.
Yeah,
And
I'll be
you
talking
know
about that on my live stream Friday, actually.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I'm glad
well,
you brought that up.
yeah, I'll reach out. Like, I
So
think I
I'll
might be
actually,
available. So yeah,
I'm
well,
glad you actually brought that up. So
yeah,
let me know.
yeah.
But let's get to these
But this
badass
is
covers that you have on your
yeah,
freaking
this is
book,
a
by the
Christian
way.
Navarro's cover.
But first of
He
all,
did
this is your
that's
cover.
mine.
I,
Yeah,
I'm
and
scrolling through.
it's
I just forgot to stop for a second. But
yeah,
this is
this is
the
showing Luke and Rose, and this
okay.
is the rubble of the building. Like, so Luke's powers or his magic is basically a lot of earth based. So he can
Interesting.
move like the earth and ground, so he can kind of demolish buildings just by shaking and moving the
So like an
earth and stuff like that.
earthbender.
Yeah, yeah, you can pick up chunks of earth and throw it and stuff like that. So yeah, he kind of like brought down this building, and him and Rose, she's the main fairy, they're flexing their magic to take out some vampires.
Dude, hell yeah, that's freaking awesome.
And
And
this is
dude, this awesome cover.
Christian's cover. Yeah, this was the one he sent this before I even had mine done, and he yeah, he did the artwork and the colors, and I really like how he colors things. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think I want to keep Luke black and white, but when I remaster it for retail, I think I'm kind of on the fence. Do I want to have it colored or not? But yeah, this is a visually striking cover. I absolutely love it.
Dude, oh my God, that's terrifying. So, yes, that is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Like, dude, I feel the intensity just by looking at the freaking cover without even seeing the title of the story. Just by
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it, I'm just like, well, dang, Jesus Christ,
It's
okay.
really cool.
It's like
Yeah,
he's
really
like he
cool.
make the vampire look like he's looking to your soul. I'm just
Yeah.
like, sweet Heavenly Father, I repent. Because good Lord.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
And we have Courtney Rose returning and Dave Kemp. She did this cover.
Courtney Rose, I love her work. Oh my God.
Yeah, really, really great. Um, we got Melchior is in the back, Luke and Rose fighting some vampire chicks. Yeah, I mean, it's not all the vampires are women, but there's women and male vampires. So yeah, it's crazy.
And was Luke always intended to be 4 issues?
Yeah, all those stories I have written so far. Well, it's going to end at Luke, but I wanted to do and this is Nick Capone and Dave Kemp as well. And Nick Capone,
Nice.
we built friendship over the years. He does a book called Purity, and I did a pinup for him that he had on his Kickstarter with Annabelle and Ice Pick and Purity. And yeah, he's returning to do a cover as well. But back to your question is when I created Ice Pick back in the 90s when I was in high school, and I kind of shelved it for years. And I do have a shameless plug. I have a Substack, Dark Space Studio, that I am showcasing. I'm kind of doing a deep dive every week on the original, like teenage drawn Todd Ice Pick, and then what was released in the first issue of Ice Pick. And I do a deep dive on, like the background, the story, the motivation, all these things. So if you're interested, if you're on Substack, it's kind of fun because I get to revisit and think about like what was I thinking about when I drew this really terrible page when I was like 17 or 16. But the question is, I shelved Ice Pick for years, and when I got back into it, and I felt that I could at least produce a moderately well drawn, well scripted story. I had Ice Pick, Luke, and Annabelle, and that is, in my way, it's kind of like the Trinity. It is the the three main characters that are the foundation of my world building. And I started with Ice Pick. I love miniseries, so I did 4 issues, and I told his story. It jumps right into the action. His parents get murdered. He's left for dead. He lives, obviously, and kind of the whole revenge madness ensues. It's very throwback to 90s superhero books. And after I was done with Ice Pick, I wanted to focus on Luke and I wanted to tell his story. So I'm sorry, Annabelle. So I wrote
Gotcha.
4 issues of Annabelle. And again, it's like her story, she gets kidnapped by a dragon. And, I have the underall theme, the kind of underlying theme is supernatural creatures or supernatural things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so Luke is 4 issues. I'm going to do a trade. I'm going to have, a lot of the layouts that Christian has done, any of this, it'll be a cover gallery. So you'll have like all the covers that were from the Kickstarters. He did a
Nice.
very special cover that was, it was just like a red themed cover. It was like a silhouette red themed cover that was an exclusive for, I think, issue 2.
Sweet,
So
sweet.
yeah, it's 4 issues, and I've already started on the next story. It's going to be an all new brand new story of Ice Pick, and that's just a kind of a 22-page traditional comic. I'm doing all the artwork for that. I'll release that next year after the trade. So yeah, I mean, we're just kind of rolling with stories. So I'm going to start doing either like individual issue, like storytelling issues, or kind of like maybe a 2 issue story arc. But it's going to be, as you know, a lot of people are probably aware. I'm working with Filbo Distribution. I think you are as well, and we are gonna start distributing Ice Pick in stores. And once I start doing that, all these issues are gonna get remastered. Dialogue may change a little bit. Some of the art may or may not change, and then I'm just gonna start doing monthlies with Ice Pick.
Yeah, I'm also a Philbo with my magazine. I haven't sent my comics into distribution yet because I have to get to a certain issue number first.
Yeah,
But the way
yeah.
I'm doing my books, I'm just gonna put them as trades and send them to Philbo because
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
doing it a monthly thing. I'm like, I'm gonna send them as trades and then I'm gonna promote the hell out of them and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
right now,
and by the time this is done, I'll have the next issue of Ice Pick done, which will be 13 full, completed 13 full issues,
hell
three
yeah,
trades. So there'll be some, there's a library there to get out into more people's hands, basically through comic shops.
okay, okay, because
And this is some of the interior art. This is Christian's interior art, which is
Jesus, this is
really,
terrifying and I love it.
yeah, it's really good.
My God, dude, this gives me like Nosferatu vibes too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that is terrifying. The pencil and inks is it's I can't even
Yeah.
find the word. It's
It's
dude, it's
gritty.
so
It's
it's wow.
really gritty. Yeah.
My God, guys, you need to buy this freaking book. Link in the description of this video while you're watching, because good Lord,
And there's Luke kicking a vampire in the face.
dude, oh my God, this is freaking amazing. I have to get the whole series because I haven't read any of these books. So I think I
Yeah.
read like
Well, thanks.
no, I read the digital. Sorry, I read the digital.
Okay.
I got the
Yeah.
physical books. Sorry.
Yeah.
So correction,
Yeah.
I haven't got the physical versions yet. That's what I meant. I was like, but
And
yes,
when I mentioned like there's blood in the book,
yeah,
it's not every page, it's not every panel. It's like, and I intentionally do that where I do some storytelling. There's some things going on, right? There is, I guess, action. It's not always like explosions and fights and car chases, but
yeah,
there's things going on as the story is being told. And then it kind of sets up for a big action sequence or a ravaging vampire panel or sequence. So it's
yeah.
always there's like always a build up or a setup to the blood and gore. So it's not like every single panel, every single page.
Nice. I love that. Yes, yes. And you guys rewards $5 for the digital copy,
Hmm.
$8 for the digital catch up. You can get the physical issue four for
Yeah.
$10 and 15 for the Virgin cover by Todd Rayner.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Virgin covers, so I always have offered Virgin covers. And a lot of these covers are actually all of them except mine are extremely exclusive to this Kickstarter. So there may be one or two copies left. If I
Well,
really
better
like a
grab it.
cover, yeah, I print maybe a couple for my personal keep, but then I don't sell them. So, you know, um, if you like it, this is the chance.
Better grab it because it's exclusive for here, guys. Oh my God, this is such a beauty. And plus, it's cost effective. It's not costing an arm or leg, guys. Back
Yeah.
this campaign. Let's get to the stretch goals and
And
get some
every
awesome
book is
storytelling.
also signed. Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
Every
even
every book,
signed? Come on,
every
that's
book
even
is signed.
wow. Yes,
Yeah.
books is also signed, guys. Look at these
Hmm.
beautiful prices. Look at these beautiful stories. Like, oh my God, that's what I was looking for. I was like the physical catch up. All
Hmm.
right, now I know where to go
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah.
I was like,
All
now I
four
know where
issues.
to go.
That's the Annabelle trade, and then the Ice Pick
Oh
trade as well.
snap!
Ice Pick is where the first appearance of all the characters. I do all
Uh,
the artwork and everything myself in Ice Pick, and then I have Sergio did the artwork, and I have an art team on Annabelle.
and do you have to pick up one book to understand the other, or are they just different voices in each book?
What do you mean?
Like you know how in like in some stories they're connected. You have to pick up one thing to understand the other.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, like
Yeah,
my brain was someplace else.
yeah.
These are so this will tell the four issues of Ice Pick, four issues of Annabelle.
Uh,
They're connected only by the characters,
I
right? So the
gotcha.
stories They do overlap a little bit. I'm a huge fan of direct sequels. So like if
Got
there's a
you.
movie that
Okay.
happens, like the next day, like the sequel picks up the next day. And that's exactly what I do with all three of these stories. Uh,
Nice.
the let's say the next day after issue 4 of Ice Pick is the issue 1 of Annabelle. It picks up literally the next day.
Hell
So
yeah. Nice. I like that.
there's a little bit of a reference of things that happen in each prior story,
Mhm.
but they are, I try to make sure that they are their own story, their own telling, so you don't necessarily need to read all of them.
That makes sense. That's nice. All right. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, this is freaking awesome. I'm saying I am such a hard nerd, and you make it, and you made it very hard to choose which one to buy. So thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah. And that's original art for the Luke issue 1, Annabelle
Wow.
issue 1. If you want, still have the original arts available for the covers, and Ice Pick, actually I still have the original art for Ice Pick number 1.
Dude, that's so sick. Oh my god. My nerdness is just coming out right now because it's so freaking cool. Wow. And shout out to the team, writer,
Mm-hmm.
letterer, Todd Rayner, and to your artist, Christian Navarro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want
Yeah.
to. I do not want to butcher those
Yeah.
names. Courtney Rose, Dave Camp, Nick Capone, and Dave Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Voiceover, Keith Holmes. Dude,
Yeah.
this is freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Guys, back Luke, because this is a bloody finale. Get all the books if you haven't got all of them, because I am about to get all of them because I need to catch up. But dude, yes, support Dark Space Studios. This is better than Marvel and DC.
Uh,
Um,
I tried.
Literally right there, guys. I already found it, but 26 days ago. Let's see how high we can get this sucker, man.
Yeah,
Like for real.
it would be nice.
Like
You know.
just launch. Let's get some stretch goals. Let's get some good storytelling. Get some originality
Mm-hmm.
back into the world, man. The link is in the description of this video while you're watching us have a bromance. But make sure you back this project on Kickstarter right now. And also check out Todd Rayner's Substack, which is also in the link. I mean, Jesus Christ, tongue twisters. Which is also the link is in the description of this video as well while you're watching. But dude, hell yes, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Before we hop off, I wanted to get some more fun questions. Let's see.
Sure.
Ease off the work now. So we got some fun, did some work now, gets back to some fun. So, okay, this is some rapid fire, so you have to go real fast. If Luke Bloody Tooth became a movie, animation, or this
Mm-hmm.
show, one, who would you want to direct it? And two, who would you cast as your lead?
Director, that's a good question. Man, I don't know any. There's some good horror directors out there. I mean, John Carpenter would probably be my go-to because I
I
probably love him more than a lot. Like as far as horror goes, probably John
yeah
Carpenter, Clive Barker. Probably could write the screenplay. I'd be good with that. And who would play the lead?
yeah
It'd have to be like some young, suave, goofy actor. I don't want to say like Ryan Gosling. I feel he's a little too old. But
yeah
I probably, for the love of the unknown, I would probably just want to pick someone that's not a big star per se. Like an
okay
up and coming kind of actor.
yeah.
So I really don't have a great answer for that one. But it'd be someone, some blonde dude that can just play the part, be goofy, be serious, have fun with it.
Oh my God. If Luke could sit down with you for dinner, what do you think he would say to you?
Why? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, bro. Like, why did you write me this way?
Oh my God. Which character from your book would you never want to meet in real life?
None of all. I don't know, man. Like, there's a part of me in every single one of the characters, good and bad, that I've written.
Oh,
So probably the headless woman in issue. I think it's 3 of Ice Pick. The main villain Freak, who is this possessed clown. He cuts off a lady's head and he's carrying it through the streets, through city streets. So like,
hell yeah, I
probably I
like
wouldn't
that.
want to be her.
I like that. Oh my God. If you could describe Luke Bloody Tooth using 3 words, what would they be?
Fun, bloody horror.
I'm sold. What's a song would be like the unofficial theme for your book?
A song. That's a good one. I mean, I've used. I'd have to say like I don't know if there's a song out there that really embodies the story,
Okay.
but I really like the aesthetic of like Rob Zombie, and like I know he's into that macabre and all that stuff he writes about, he sings about it. But
True.
there's
Yeah.
also,
True.
so like if I want like a rock song like that can be out in the masses on the soundtrack,
Yeah.
I'd probably have him do something really cool. But there is a guy, Peter Gundry is a musician, and I think he's a one man guy. I just randomly came across him years ago, and he does this like very kind of Halloweeny, like spooky, vibey type of music. It's all instrumental, but it's kind of almost like witchy music, or it's dark music. It just fits with Halloween and the spooky season. Like you could put it on at a Halloween party and it would just like be an awesome, vibe for the party to have, right? It's just something really easy to listen to. So I would have him probably like score if there was like a movie or TV show, because I really like the music he creates. It's really interesting. But yeah,
Okay. What horror icon will Luke get along with or completely destroy?
what icon?
Yeah, he would get along with or completely destroy.
Icon like a person or an object,
Right? Any that's in general.
anything.
Like yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be a person. It be like it just in general.
I think eventually, in for the next book that I'm writing, it's a Ice Pig ghost story, and I kind of mentioned a little bit. He kind of destroys the maybe the icon or the persona, the stereotype of being what I've built him up to be so far. He's a little bit that like that in the story, but like the ending, there's like a shoe drop moment at the end of the book, and I think it kind of changes everything about Luke. So
Right.
kind of like, because he's like that, like I said, a sidekick. He's a comedic humor type of thing. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
what happens to him, you don't know, like on the other side, like the flip side of after this event happens, how is Luke going to handle this? But this
yeah.
event happens and I leave it at that, like that's the end of the issue, is this thing happens to Luke, and it is absolutely going to change him as a character. So he's going to shatter that icon of being, the suave kind of sidekick, you know, goofy guy. So yeah,
Dude, that's freaking awesome. Again, guys, Luke, Bloody Tooth, a bloody finale, Kickstarter is in the link the link is in the description of this video. Go support Ty. Let's get some stretch goals. And that's 26 days, guys. Come on.
yeah,
Let's get this number higher and higher and
yeah.
support indie guys.
I like giving out free stuff. So
Hell yeah, man. And where can we follow you on social so keep up to date with you?
yeah. So obviously Todd Rayner on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Reddit under Dark Space Studio, Facebook, Instagram for Dark Space Studio as well. I do have a TikTok for Dark Space Studio that I do post, some more videos and stuff like that. We got cool little stickers that we're doing now. So if I'm out there,
That's
on the
right.
socials
And you can follow
and
me on
Substack. Yeah,
Yep.
sorry, forgot
Todd
to
Rayner
interrupt, but yeah,
Substack.
definitely. Well, it's Dark Space. Yeah, Dark Space Studio is
Dark Space
Substack.
Studio
Dark Space
Substack.
Studio.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
All those links are in the description of this video while you're watching, and you can follow me on Instagram at IamKevinDavisOfficial and Carousel. But all my business tags are in my Kevin Davis Official Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube on Carousel, on KFC Podcast, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to watch podcasts. And then on Facebook, I am Kevin Davis CEO, and I'm also on TikTok. If you're there, it's Carousel. But and yeah, but thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on the flip side. And like I said, make sure you back Luke and go support Todd and support Indy. Catch you
yeah.
guys later.
All right, thanks.